Hey, what's going on? I'm actually explaining this trade here. So, I actually had a headache last night, so I didn't take a look at the market until probably about 30 minutes before I took the trade. So, let me mark up today. So, we box up the days here. Hold on. Well, so I knew that this was probably going to happen because we got bearish divergence. So, I actually told Emerson in the group that we had bearish divergence and I would be looking for like a big drop soon. And so I guess that's what's happening right now. So I didn't look at this at all late last night. I had a headache, so I went to sleep. But if you just marked up the highs, like I said in the last video on the 5 minute, you could have maintained this order. If you marked up the 5 minute highs, I'm talking about the body highs. So you see, I don't have any markings on here because I didn't trade it. I was asleep and I had a headache. So if you mark up the bearish mitigation blocks ICT teach about and the 5 minute highs, you could have maintained this order or held your short. Okay. So what I did was I went ahead and started marking up the bearish mitigation blocks about 30 minutes before I got into this trade. So I just took a look at this and I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? So you have the bearish mitigation blocks, ICT, the way you teach it is just phenomenal. It's basically the last down close candle before it has a big push down. It has to be an impulse. Okay, so like for instance, I'm not trying to really teach on bearish mitigation blocks, but I mean, I could do it. But like for instance, right here, this is technically a bearish mitigation block, but I wouldn't mark it up because it wasn't a big push right here. It's consolidation. But here I did mark it up because what? It was a big push. You see that? And so this move that I'm about to show you actually got kind of tricky. And what is this yellow line right here? Let me delete this. So this move got kind of tricky because based off of supply and demand, based off of what the market does at 9:30, I already know that price when it breaks this actually wasn't a valid demand zone. I couldn't even find one. So maybe that's why I didn't come up here. But let me explain. I actually was looking for price to come up to here because when it breaks at 9:30, this is a 9:30 line right here. This is the 8:30 line right here. Usually when it breaks, it comes back to test the area, the demand zone that it broke. But when I looked, I didn't see the way I find demand zones, I didn't see a demand zone. Like I guess you could say this is a demand zone right here. But so what happened was I was maintaining this order, well, not this order, but I was maintaining structure on the 5 minute. So I marked up the 5 minute highs, which is these green lines right here. And then I went down to the 1 minute and I marked up the 1 minute highs. Okay. And I actually took this trade on the 1 minute. So you see right here, I do the body highs because if you do the wick highs, you're going to get faked out. Okay. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. You have to put it on the bodies. Okay. So price, look at that. Price never closed above the 5 minute high body. I mean, the 1 minute high body, nothing. Price came down and never closed above the 1 minute highs. There's another one right here I didn't mark up. We just keep flowing down. And then right here, what happened? Here's a high. The reason I said this was a high because look at that impulse down right there. So I'm like, well, this is a valid high. Price came up to it, double topped, pushed back down. Then right here, boom. So I was on alert for a buy right here. I'm like, okay, well, we about to push up. And then when I saw price just skyrocket out of here, right here, this is when I got in for a buy. Okay, so actually I put in my notes that I probably should have waited. This is an early entry, so this was not a gamble, but based off of discipline, I shouldn't have done it, but I just did it anyway because I knew it was going to work. But based off of discipline, I should have waited to close above the 5 minute high, but I went ahead and got in here. Stop loss below this low here, actually below this low. And so I went ahead and rolled it up to a few areas of liquidity. So I actually was holding on and I thought it was actually going to come all the way up here to hit this area that was broken. This is kind of like a bearish breaker, ICT. That's why I have this line right here, but I was waiting on it to hit this. But when I saw that long wick right there on the 1 minute, I was like, I'm out. And then, so that's how I caught 53 points. Thanks for watching.